is when they do something.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Not so. If you don't want that brandy at 10:30 in the morning, don't have it. And if you did happen to have some, like on a chilly day, on a cold day, or on a special day, it wouldn't even faze you.
Okay, so we're live on air, and Maria is doing a rant. Okay, now, tonight, live from New York, live from Massachusetts, live from Louisiana, and maybe some other places, we are looking at Spaten, not Optimator, but the original Spaten Münchner Hell, a bright Municher beer. Eric is drinking out of a glass boot.
Got that one for my birthday last Friday.
That's nice. So Eric is joining us.
Cheers.
Eric is joining us from Massachusetts Beer Reviews. Maria is joining us from the Girl Next Door Beer Reviews and food and even yoga. All right, and other assorted interesting things. And I am joining you from Louisiana Beer Reviews and sometimes port wine, sherry wine, brandy, and Vienna sausages. Okay, now, not to mention all kind of other foods that I tend to eat. Now, Maria, you bought a six-pack, and you've been drinking on this, examining it on your own, haven't you?
Yeah, baby, I like this beer. This is one of my beers that I buy. I will always buy this.
Oh, so you've had it many times, eh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's right at the it's right at the right ABV for me, about 5%. I like the light lager, and this is what I consider the light lager. When people coined that term, I was thinking light in color. So I happen to really like the premium lager and the Pilsner. So yay.
Now, Eric, you've had it before?
I have had it before. I bought a six-pack. I haven't had it a lot. I bought a six-pack. I tried one the other day, and I got two in the boot.
Now, this will be similar to your Kronenbourg, your Carlsberg,
Awesome.
your Heineken, your Peroni, your Almazza, Birra Moretti, etc., etc. Okay, this beer. Okay, now, let me try to put this together correctly. The company, or the brewing operation, started in 1397. That's a long time ago. Like over 600 years ago in Munich, inside the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation, the First Reich. But actually, this particular beer, the lager, did not get launched until 1895, when it was the Kingdom of Hungary inside the German Empire, the Second Reich. Okay. And it became their most popular beer. They also make an export double bock called Optimator, which is not sold in Europe, interestingly, but it is sold in America. And that's a rich, pruny, raisiny, high alcohol lager, which I think
ready can get in a beer almost.
And I believe you and Maria both had Optimator.
Yes, I think we might have actually. I think I did do a review with you on that, our examination.
Yeah, that's right. And so Spaten,
Good stuff.
big time company involved in Oktoberfest. They have a huge brewery in Munich. I mean, this is a major outfit. This is not a small craft beer company. But of course, you know, myself, Eric, and Maria love craft beer and mass-produced beer. We just like beer, I guess you'd say. Good beer, not bad beer. It is in a green bottle. Apparently, it's sold in cans in Europe, but I've not seen that here. Have you?
Mm-mm. Not I.
Got the date, guys. December 2016.
Well, yours is fresher than mine. I have November 2016.
Mine says January 2017.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How'd you get lucky like that?
I have no clue.
Now, I'm looking on the Spaten website. It says premium brand, bottom fermented, of course, Munchner Lager with a supremely well-balanced hop flavor. They also make a Dunkel, which I think we ought to examine if we could ever find the darn thing. Now, this beer is 5.2%. It's 160 calories, so it's not particularly light.
No, that's okay. If you have a beer in the 150 calorie range, that's not awful.
Okay. And it's 21 IBU.
I was going to say calorie-wise, for a drink, 200 and above is bad.
Yeah. 200 and above. Now, they give this, I don't know if y'all were looking on their website, but they give a lot of food pairings. Apfelstrudel. Apple strudel?
It would go with apple strudel. Huh.
Also, they showing chocolate Spaten Optimator cake.
Whoa.
I can't go on and on. It's so many. It's potato soup called Kartoffelsuppe. And then they have something called Nyar Spretzel, soft pretzels. And they got sausage, shrimp.
Spetzel.
Food and beer pairings. Wiener Schnitzel, steak.
Yummy.
So it's a pretty extensive website, and they're using, now they say that the lager should pair best with German cheese, salad, pork, fish, and shellfish.
I mean, it could almost pair with almost any kind of normal style American foods, really.
Yeah. Now, Maria, what were you pairing it with? 'Cause I know you were cooking with it, cooking and drinking.
You can pair this beer with practically anything that's coming out of your kitchen. You name it. I wouldn't put it with dessert. Like I would put it with apple strudel, though. I mean, now that you bring it up, but I was going to say I wouldn't put it with dessert. But it's just a nice balanced drink, and it'll even go with pasta. The hard thing to do with any beer is to pair it with like tomato sauce and certain, like richer stuff, but this will go with anything, pasta, any kind of sauce, Chinese food, Indian food, any kind of food, pizza, burgers, whatever. Now,
I agree with that. Now, it's a Reinheitsgebot beer, which means it's brewed according to the German purity law. They use only water. They talk about the water on the website. They use the Hallertau hops from those hop farms in southern Germany. Barley malt and yeast, and they go on their website about how they're so picky about what kind of quality, the quality of the hops and the barley. Now, I'm just going by what they're saying. Maybe they're a pack of liars, but they're saying we are real picky about quality ingredients. And the Spaten company was, by the way, bought out by Interbrew in 2003, which is now InBev, Anheuser-Busch InBev. So it has been owned by a major corporation for 13 years, but it itself was a major corporation going around buying people up, so it wasn't like that was anything new for that company. So I guess we ought to start examining it. So Maria, you give us the appearance, and then Eric and myself.
Okay, well, it's a beautiful appearance. This is golden yellow, and you can see just a little bit of yellow in the color, but it's mostly golden, and it reminds me of wheat in a field, right, or grain in a field. It's just that beautiful color of something that's been touched by sun. And there was about an inch worth of head when I poured it, 2 fingers worth, and it fell well for the style. It's just white. It's beautifully clear. It's not exceptionally bright, but it is bright. So if you wanted to notice like what I would call beyond clear and too bright, this is your beer that'll show you bright. And it's got lots of active bubbles on the rise in there. It's a perfect looking beer.
I can't argue. Eric, what are you saying?
I'm finding, and you probably can't even see it. Let me pull up my camera here where I'm viewing. You probably can't even really see it. No, you can't really see it.
Oh, I can see you right through the glass. Now that's as clear as running water. I can see.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the clarity, which was if I hold it up to the light, I do get small, fine white particles, but nothing that's really disconcerting to me, at least. I don't know if that could be the glass. This is a brand new glass.
Maybe your chill haze about to drop off?
Hopefully, yeah. It's not really much in there, if anything. So Maria's technically pretty much on the money with that, and it is one of those bone white kind of colored heads that had a pretty big froth up to the line here on my Das Boot, but then it died down a little bit. But it's definitely got that golden, that typical golden color you get from the European style lagers for sure.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all. It's golden, it's bubbly, it's clear as a bell. It has the white head. Sorry about that. Kansas City Southern Railroad didn't bother calling me.
We got a train here in Ithaca too. I love the sound of the thing, especially when it rolls through at 3:30 a.m.
Yeah, I hear it. Yeah, it comes through around that time too. There, I see a little bit of white specks throughout.
Yeah, a little bit.
There is a little sediment, but you'll see that in even your most highly filtered beers. Before we go into the aroma, there is a section here about the Reinheitsgebot on their website. It's kind of interesting, though. They're saying the Reinheitsgebot was introduced in part to prevent price competition with bakers for wheat and rye. The restriction of grains to barley was meant to ensure the availability of sufficient amounts of affordable bread, as the more valuable wheat and rye were reserved for use by bakers. See, I had heard that it wasn't really so much about making sure the beer was pure, but to make sure they weren't using grain that people needed to eat for beer.
Right.
It formed the basis of legislation that spread slowly throughout Bavaria and Germany. And Bavaria insisted on its application throughout all of Germany as a precondition of German unification in 1871. So we're not going to join your union if we don't have this beer protection law. To prevent competition from beers brewed elsewhere with a wider range of ingredients. Oh, I see what. Okay. The move encountered strong resistance from brewers outside of Bavaria.
Yeah.
By restricting the allowable ingredients, it led to the extinction of many brewing traditions and local beer specialties, such as North German spiced beer and cherry beer. So it really had a negative impact. And it led to the domination of the German beer market by Pilsner-style beers. Today, even after the Reinheitsgebot has been lifted, Spaten still complies with it. Okay, so, and then...
I was reading information that said that this Munich Hills style lager came about through, I guess kind of like what you were saying, came about through competition almost through the Czech Republic, that I guess people in that Bavaria Munich area were really concerned about people drinking all of that Czech beer, and they weren't really drinking beers from Germany or any kind of lagers like that, in Germany. So they created this style of beer to try to compete with the Czech Republic, and I think a lot of people see the Munich Hills lager, and I can agree with Spaten, as being just a little bit more bready and malty forward in the taste than a Czech Pilsner. And they even listed on the BJCP, they list the Munich malt as a specific style of malt, which can provide a bready, rich, malty quality that enhances the malt backbone of a beer without adding any more sweetness. And some of it can confuse the maltiness with sweetness. So it's not supposed to be an overly sweet, grainy tasting beer, in other words.
It's pretty interesting.
Yes, absolutely. Isn't that great that you found all that information? I think the purity laws are confusing to people, and if you get into them and are able to explain them, that would benefit me, because I've never understood what they were all about. And when people start to argue them, they're like, well, it was about this or it was about that, and no one really seems to know.
Well, I'm figuring that Spaten must have some good information, because after all, they were founded in Bavaria, right?
Yes.
So they were on the scene. They were one of the people insisting that the law be enforced.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want competition. So, I mean.
And you're so timely, you guys. I just picked up a beer that forced me to go and ask questions about the difference between the northern Pilsner and the southern Pilsner, or the northern, some difference between Pilsner styles that was really geographic. I mean, it was like, this is it. This is the microscope right here. And the only article I found that even included the purity laws was from somebody at Cornell, so I have to read it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what are you getting on the aroma, Maria, Eric and Maria?
I think it smells terrific. It smells bready, grainy, touch of like cereal, little hint of sulfur. Not too much DMS, but just like a little light sweet. And it just smells perfect. No hops, except for maybe a little spice, a little of the spice backing from those Hallertau hops. Just a good beer.
Is it Hallertau that they use, or do they use the noble hops? Because I guess I don't understand what the difference is really when I smell it or taste it.
Noble hops just means a bunch of varieties of hops.
Oh.
Like Hallertau, Saz, East Kent Goldings, those are all noble hops.
Gotcha. So, yeah, it would be a noble hop sort of a scent. Totally, yeah. The tapintoyourbeer.com, since this is an Anheuser-Busch owned beer, they say it's an all barley malt for the grain, and that's totally the scent. It is very, it's got that thing that the Czech Pilsner's got as well, which is it has that biscuity white bread kind of a malt. And I am getting that spicy, that noble hop that I was just talking about entirely. And, I mean, there's a little bit of that earthy, green, grassy kind of a hop note. But other than that, it does not smell off-putting at all, and there's nothing that really, you know, is too abrasive on the nose at all. It smells
No,
really
I did not get any skunk. I just got, like you're saying, the malt, the grass, the kind of the rich barley. It's rich, but it's not like sweet or weird. It's just, it smells, and it can't be because it's been bottled, but it smells fresh. I don't know how to describe it, but it does smell like
a fresh cut grass almost.
Yeah. That's the way I see it.
I got to learn how to drink out of this Das Boot where every time I take a drink, it doesn't want to glug everywhere.
Chug it, chug it.
I've heard you got to hold it at an angle so it doesn't get that air pocket towards the toe.
Yeah, I've seen people do those videos with those boots, and it just kept going glug, 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 glug. Now, the most
And this
important
one is easy to drink, right? I mean, it's like it's a rich little mouthful, but it's very easy to drink because the alcohol's, you know, just nothing on there, and it's got, like Eric was saying, just a nice little grassy flavor to go along with that, and it's just, you could glug it easily.
Yeah, now like Swilling Grog says, now the most important part, the taste test. So let's do it.
Prost, everybody.
Clink.
Clink. Oh yeah. Boy, boy, boy. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Eric and Maria, roll with it.
Yeah, we already started. Eric had his open before we even got on. I was like, my beer, my beer.
Well, I knew I got to open up two to fit in the boot. But anyways, it's got that biscuity, floury, white bready kind of a spicy, green, earthy, grassy hop, and it's got some nice carbonation. It's a very soft carbonation, which what I'm getting from the mouthfeel is that it's a silky smooth kind of a lager. It's very easy to drink. It's not too prickly. It doesn't go down harsh from the carbonation. It doesn't really make you, you know, have these roaring, raging kind of burps after first sip. Sometimes American-style lagers can be almost too aggressive in the carbonation, but this one is super easy and smooth to drink. And if you like European-style lagers and you like a bready, malty beer, this is a great one to try. And it's glugging.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. It's
It is spicy. It does have spice from those hops on it. Mine doesn't have like what I would say is like fresh herbal type grass. This is more like a dried hay type grass. You know what I mean in mine? But mine is, you know, it's not that old, but I mean it's older than yours.
Yeah.
So there's a difference, right? Like if you're getting vibrance from your hops, mine aren't. So that's relevant to the age of the beer. I I think that the flavor, like you said, is just smooth. It's well balanced. It has a nice finish, right? That's crisp with a little hop bitterness. The hops add crispness to this because, like you said, it is a little bit biscuity. So it's different from the Pilsner in that way, right? Because the Pils is all bready, right? And this one isn't all bready. This one is, like you said, white bread and a little bit of that biscuit. I think it has a beautiful taste, and I'm almost done.
Yeah, I find the biscuit, I find the little grassy hops. It really does seem to be 21 IBU. Now I'm thinking of people that I know that drink things like Bud Light, like the people next door. Now they're going to drink this beer and they're going to say, "Oh, it's so," like I know what they would say. "Oh, it's bitter. Don't you think it's really bitter? It's so strong." I would say it's not really too strong and it's not too bitter, but you're not used to it. If you would drink some more, you probably start to really like it. But I think
that there, you know, what they're noticing actually is relative to the mouthfeel. Because if you're drinking Bud or Bud Light, 4.5%, yes, it's not really a whole huge leap in alcohol. So the strength that they're noticing is the character of the malt on the palate without the fizz. The AAL is giving them fizz and not that much malt, and this one is giving you malt and not that much fizz.
Yeah.
Now, the BJCP, I'm looking at it right now, the Beer Judging Certification Program Guidelines. This is in, I guess you would call that Chapter 4. The pale, malty...
You have, Eric, I'm sorry, do you have the new one or do you have the old one?
This is 2015.
Okay.
This is, yeah, they call it the Munich Hells. And what they're saying about that 21 IBUs for this style is that you're going to get that subtle, spicy, floral, or herbal hops and retained bitterness to help keep it, to help balance out the malty flavors. But it's not supposed to be anything that's overly hop forward. And for a lager beer, unless it was like an India Pale Lager, I guess it's not supposed to be that way. And I'm not getting any of it that way. And they do say they're traditionally going to be the German Sass hops varieties with a clean German lager yeast, and it's definitely, you can get a little bit of, I don't know if it's the malt or if it's a yeast that may be giving me a little bit of that flowery biscuit, but if that's the yeast, then that's a very light flavor, but it's pleasant.
Floral is from hop.
The finish is pretty crisp and dry, but it's not super dry. But it's snappy, more or less.
That fruity, that back note, I'm sorry, that fruity back note as you swallow, is that what you mean?
Something like that, yeah.
That's from yeast. I know what you mean. That there is the yeast. That's the fruity ester from yeast. Yes, sir. Yay. You got it.
Yeah, I definitely picked that up. It's got body. This beer has some good body to it. That's where that 100. That's where that 160 kicks in,
They say more body and less malt presence than a German Pilsner, and I don't know. Maybe that's true, but I don't know personally if I had a German Pilsner and the Spaten beer blindfolded. I don't know if I would be able to tell the difference really. Just in style, I don't know if I could tell the difference between the two.
You'll have to do a challenge. Hey.
The Pilsner would be a lot more hop forward. Right, as much as this is malt forward, and the hops are kind of like circling around it.
Yeah.
The Pilsner, they're not. They're neck and neck.
They're
not the IPA where they're first.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah, exactly. And you're right. It does finish a little bit lighter, and I'm not sure why, but yeah, it does have a little bit lighter finish than the Pils.
European beer blind taste challenge. I think I have to try that.
Yeah. I wanna watch that. Hey, well, I'm gonna look at this. Oh, one more thing I like about this beer, y'all. It's 12 ounces instead of 11.2.
355 milliliters for our European friends.
They ship it to America, and they know Americans are used to 12 ounces, and that's what we get.
Roast.
So it finishes so nice. I didn't get a bit of skunk on it. Maybe the slightest touch of it when I first cracked the bottle, but that dissipated in a snap. There we go. Would you buy it again?
Yeah, I buy it frequently.
I know I would buy it again, of course.
I'm kind of torn. I'm kind of torn right here because I really, really, really not that I wouldn't buy it again because I absolutely would, but I think everybody here knows that I really, really like Carlsberg, and I know that's a German Pilsner, but it's similar enough in style to Spaten, and I think it would just sort of matter as to if I want a German beer or not. But you know, I think either or. I would go for. Definitely, I would buy the Spaten again, but those are probably going to be my top 2 favorite lager beers I've probably tried with you guys.
I like the Carlsberg, and I like it, but it's 4.8. This is 5.2, so I do prefer the 5.2. When I go with Carlsberg, I have to be honest.
Yes.
I grab the Elephant because it's the same price, and the Elephant is so much richer and but you know it's really strong. It's what 7.5%. So
Yes.
I mean it's no joke. The Elephant is that's why it has an elephant on it because it hits you like an elephant, and you know figuratively. So I can't help grabbing that Elephant. I would like to get the Carlsberg Elephant 10.5, but that's a whole nother story. We'll never see it.
I think the only downside to the Carlsberg versus Spaten in the United States is that the Carlsberg, I believe, is only in those 11.2 ounce green bottles, and we get 12 ounce Spaten bottles for the same price. I guess in that regard, I would go with Spaten over.
You got to take that into account. It adds up. Hey, Here's the thing. It's called lesson number 1225. Christkindl Market, a famous open-air Christmas market in Munich, Germany, where traditional German crafts, sweets, food, mulled wine, and other delights are available for purchase. What is mulled wine?
Isn't that wine with spices added?
I think that's what. Yeah, they drink that stuff at Christmas time. They drink it warm,
It's
right?
Prague, right? It's the Swedish thing, the mulled wine with you heat it up and you add spices.
Yeah.
Okay, I learned something.
Various mulled spices and sometimes raisins, served hot or warm. There you go.
Would would YouTube people be interested in ever looking at Spaten Dunkel?
Of course. Never seen it.
Let's do it.
And I even buy the Wurstener Dunkel every now and then.
I mean, that Spaten Dunkel might be a you know what to find, but it's got that red label. If you see that red Spaten label. Now, another one I think that we will be able to find in the fall because I've seen it, and you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm about to say.
The Oktoberfest?
Spaten Urmarzen,
or
known as Oktoberfest Urmarzen. It says it's 5.9%. It's 23 IBUs, but it's 180 calories now.
That's the one. That's the one with the checkerboard pattern on the label, right?
The blue and white checkerboard.
Yeah. Awesome.
The beer of Munich's favorite. The beer of Munich's famous Oktoberfest, aromatic, savory, and gold-colored. Okay.
Good stuff right here, Spaten. Yeah, buy it. If you like Budweiser, you want to try a true of the old world. Spaten's where it's at.
I'm glad you said Budweiser because we ought to do an examination of Budvar. You know the European Budweiser.
Czechvar.
Czechvar, Budvar. It's actually in Europe called Budweiser, you know.
Yes.
But, okay, so we wrapped this up, and I think this went very well.
Yes, sir.
We have these items coming up. Natty Daddy, Maria cannot get it. I checked the website. The closest store to Maria is 75 miles, and I don't think she's going to drive.
I get that in my town.
Not for that one, anyway.
I wouldn't recommend you do that.
And Jean-Pierre was like, I can't get Natty Daddy. And I was like, Jean-Pierre, let me look it up. And I checked the website, and he was right. It's like 70 miles from him. And in my case, it's just down the street. Okay, but we did a few changes. How about this on May 25th? St. Pauli Girl.
Okay. I'll come for St. Pauli Girl. I wasn't going to come for that Bud Light Lime, and you know it.
Yeah.
Because you're prejudiced.
I got my nose so high in the air, if it rains, I'll drown.
June 1st is not a beer snob's dream. It is a beer snob's nightmare, and it is Bud Light Lime. But it exists, and it is one of the top 20 most popular beers in the world. As insipid as it is.
I looked for it, honest to God. And, you know, I did find a big tall boy can. It was $2.99.
What? That's a rip.
No, sir. And I don't even think it's the one you want. It's the Bud Lime Arita.
Oh, no.
No. Okay, because I don't want that. I'm not paying $3 for Bud Lime Arita.
The word lime at the end of it.
Yeah.
You run from that. You run from anything that says Arita. Run. Don't run from it.
I mean, if that one was $1, right, like the Genesee Lager, you want to go into a store, get the Genesee, right? You're looking for something that's $1.50. Get the Genesee tall boy can of the lager.
Yeah, I'm looking at it at a store near my town. The 25-ounce can of Bud Light Lime is $2.29. That's crazy.
Well, that's better than $2.99, but not by much.
No.
I think I'll be able to get it in it. But, you know, it's popular. Look, I'm telling you.
Let's do it anyway. Let's do it.
I'm telling you right now. This. Yeah.
Let's just do it. Let's do it.
This crummy little beer. I've had it. I have not enjoyed it. I don't hate it. Okay, I'll be honest. I don't hate it. But it's like Joni loves Chachi.
Does she
It
really?
ain't that great. But I figure let's look at it.
Metallica without the hair?
Let's look at it. Yeah, don't even get me started. Then we'll skip a week in early June, and then on June 15th, I moved Chimay White back to June 15th to give people time to find it.
Okay.
So that's
the other thing that I wrote down, and I don't know if you want to do that at some point after that, maybe to do an examination of everybody's regional beer in their area.
Yes, I'm in.
Yeah, but what is my regional beer?
Regional, not local. You mean regional, not local.
Yeah.
What is my regional beer?
So my local's Ithaca beer, so regional beer would be Southern Tier, Omegang. I mean, that just opens up your entire state.
Mine would be probably Abita, something from Abita. Abita's like the king of regional beer around here. It used to be Dixie. It used to be Dixie 20 years ago, but that went by the wayside, and it's
think about that.
Barely hanging on. Yeah, that.
I'll bring something from like a smaller brewer, like Ellicottville or Syracuse. I'm actually liking Syracuse a lot.
I'll write that down.
Because I remember Marilyn Jake had asked us if we wanted to look at National Bohemian, which gave me the idea. Why don't we look at that beer, but you can use it as your regional beer if we look at it like that.
But what if it's a beer that I can get in my region that other people can't get?
That would probably, interpret that definition however you want to do it. That would be a cool idea, I think.
Okay, I wrote that down.
Macro regionals too?
Yeah. That's
like something that's like you can get it and you think everybody else can get it, but then everybody else is like, I can't get that beer. And it's like, well, I get it.
It also depends on the day, right, for a lot of things, because when I went to buy this sixer, it was it. It was the only one on the shelf. There was only one. They hadn't filled it. So I was lucky, and if it hadn't been there that day, I would have been walking down there today to get it.
Here, I'll give you an example, Maria, and then we'll shut this off. You remember a few weeks ago we were fooling with Rolling Rock? And I just finished my last Rolling Rock a couple of days ago. Okay, if you go to Virginia and Ohio, that area, Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, they've got Rolling Rock Amber Lager in every store. It's like a red Rolling Rock.
Yeah, that stuff it seemed like it was dead, mostly.
But up there, it's like every store has it. It's like everybody will look at you like, well, of course, everybody has Rolling Rock Amber Lager. What's wrong with you? And then you saying, I haven't ever seen it. Well, they used to sell it in Louisiana. It was called Rock Red.
Yes.
But it's gone. But it's gone. You know. And I called the company. I was like, why don't you start selling it down here? I have a friend that wants to drink it. And they're like, we're not going to bring it to your town because of one person. I was like, yeah, but he might, maybe other people will drink it. No, no.
Exactly. Like, have you ever heard the expression where there's one, there's two? Where there's one, there's 1,001.
Yeah, but they told me, forget it. That's an example. That's what I'm talking about. Like a macro beer that you can get in your area, but nobody else can get. Like
that's kind of what I was thinking on that terminology myself.
Like Ziegenbach.
Yeah.
I was going to use Narragansett Lager because that's definitely my regional beer.
I like that one too. That's a good lager.
I have to drive 4 hours to get Narragansett beers.
Don't do it. No.
But Ziegenbach, there's another example. Ziegenbach, we can get. You can't get it. You can't get it.
That would be a good one to bring. Yeah, absolutely.
You can't get it. Hey, well, but then Maria's telling me you can't get Genesee Cream Ale. I'm like, yep, that's true.
Oh, you're gonna have some Genesee Cream Ale.
Wow.
A little bird told me.
Yeah, I might drive all the way to New York just to get some Genesee Cream Ale.
Well,
you know about that?
Yeah. You might.
Hey, well, anyway, thank y'all for watching this video examination, and y'all come on back down here. You here?
Roast.
Or go up there. Go down or go up. Go north or go south.
I gotta kick a boot.
We're not going to shout out to the West because the West ignored us like we were nothing tonight.
Yeah.
Nothing to them. I'm talking about the participators, not the viewers.